Boom, wrestling tough. Hey, it's Dominic D'Angelo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, SEScoop.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. It's a Friday. Who's ready for a Friday? I am, TGIF. Let's ask Robert Karpelis if he is WE Creative _ or ish. Robert, how are you today?
The hell was with that book?
So at the gym I go to, they know I write for the dirt sheets. And the guy was like, hey, I got a wrestling book for you. And he gave me a wrestling book, but it's amateur wrestling, like Chapman. But funny story, Robert, first page I open up to, who is on it but Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's in here.
So, I heard of him.
Yeah, that guy.
So, heard of that guy. Worked with that guy. Interesting guy. Like Kurt Angle quite a bit.
I like him too.
One of my all-time favorites. You're one of my all-time favorite co-hosts. Of all the co-hosts I have this week, you are definitely one of them.
That means a lot.
And all due respect to Cammie Star, we know we are not twinning today. But we'll say hi to some of the folks who are joining us here live. Devin Dowling says, "Ayo." E says, "Will there be a cleaning up the dirt sheets episode this weekend?" Possibly. How many shows do you have, dude?
I do a lot. I just got to stay consistent with them. I have a cleaning up the dirt sheets where I talk about some of the dirt sheet stuff. So I got to be
talking some dirt sheety stuff. I very briefly looked at the rundown. It looked like there was a lot of stuff on there. Yeah. Donnie Disco says, "Happy SmackDown Friday R&I." That is right. There is SmackDown tonight. Dom, we're finally out of Nevada.
Yes,
we get to see a different crowd of people. I don't know where SmackDown even is tonight.
That's a great question.
I want to say it's in like Nebraska or something strange.
I hope it is. I hope it's like in Omaha or something like the.
Well, that would be in Nebraska.
That would be. But hey, what do we have on tap for SmackDown?
I got no clue.
I don't really either because all they announced was one match.
There's only one match that matters on this show. This is the beauty of the WWE. Is they knew, hey, we're going into WrestleMania week. We got a lot of stuff to focus on. Let's also remind you next week on SmackDown, you're going to get a hell of a match, and it is a TLC match. This is a match that we kind of thought was going to wind up on the WrestleMania card. It didn't, and these guys are obviously going to want to prove something. It's the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, and the Street Profits in a TLC match.
Yes. Should be a lot of fun, Robert. I love it, Motor City Machine Guns, and it's kind of weird. Wow, this is their first TLC match. Isn't that kind of funky to think about?
Why is that funky? They haven't competed in the WWE.
I know, but it's like such a classic match.
I'm sure that they competed in what did a TNA had? Full Metal Mayhem? Yeah, that was a thing. Remember, like there was like the version of like Ultimate X or something where they like locked people in like a dungeon for 24 hours before letting them out.
Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball. Yes.
That was like a signature match.
It's a real company. It's a real company that legitimately aired, still airs professional wrestling every week. Look, this is a great match to put out there and say, you're going to tune in. We know you're going to tune into SmackDown anyway because you want to see the fallout. Whether you're going to see, I know Cody was advertised the building. I doubt we're going to see Cody Rhodes. I think Cody is going on a hero's quest journey somewhere into the wilderness. I don't think we're going to get a John Cena date we're going to keep saying it's in Nebraska until proven otherwise. In beautiful Omaha, Nebraska for SmackDown tonight. But I don't see John Cena showing up. I think we'll get a Tiffany Stratton coronation of some sort. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Charlotte pivot. I think somebody, whether it's Tiffany or Charlotte's going to wind up dealing with Nia Jax because she was conspicuous by her absence at Mania, but she was all over the roast of WrestleMania, Dom, which does not exist, never happened.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly. It's like the entire WWE universe got that little Men in Black thing. Yes, it made that noise. Thank you for. Now you're just doing like a Bill Clinton hand gesture.
Hey,
what?
I can't remember.
I love it. You're the best co-host.
What do you
anyway,
think?
so we know that there's going to be a lot of falling out. I'm sure we're going to hear from Drew, who's going to be gloating. Maybe we'll wind up getting another Drew Priest match out of it. I don't necessarily know. it's the SmackDown after Mania where you got to pivot in the same way the Raw after Mania did its strong pivot. We got Jacob Fatu as the new United States champion. So how's Solo going to react? What's LA Knight going to do? Is he still going to be riding bitch in someone else's car?
Mm.
Lots
Yeah,
of
that's true.
questions we need answered. But one question I don't need to worry about answering is what am I going to be having for breakfast
Ooh,
tomorrow?
right.
Uh, Rachel is out of town, so I'm left to my own devices. The kids, they got they got what they eat. I got to figure out what the hell to eat on my own, and we all know on here I can't cook, and that's where our friends at Magic Spoon come in handy. Magic Spoon makes high protein, zero sugar cereal and treats that are reinvented from your childhood so you can taste the nostalgia. These treats that they make are high protein treats that are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. I'm kind of single parenting it for the next couple of days, which means I'm doing school drop offs and pickups and after school activities and all that. I'm not going to have time to sit down and eat anything. I grab one of these treats. They taste just like thread the needle. The childhood marshmallow cereal treats that you all know and love. We know what we're talking about here. But without all that pesky sugar and all those extra problems, comes in flavors like marshmallow, chocolate, peanut butter, and dark chocolate. That's what I'm going to be crushing. And you can get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/rumor. Or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/rumor for $5 off.
Yes, Magic Spoon. Hey, no better thing to eat on Saturday morning than cereal, right? And Magic Spoon's the way to do it.
Dude, I got milk. That's how excited I am. I have milk. That is a consistent. When I lived in Stanford, that was a big meal for me.
Yeah.
Was bowl of cereal at night when I came home after work. Again, my lack of cooking skills are
Real quick,
pretty.
Robert, are you what kind of milk person are you? A whole milk, 2%, skim? Where do you fall in that grid?
I am. I want to say the 2%. It's whatever the Publix purple top milk is. I don't know.
Oh, I got no idea. We don't got Publix here.
Yeah, I know you don't got no Publix up there. You got what, A&P? No.
No, we got Market Basket.
What?
Yeah, Market Basket. That's what I grew up by a Market Basket. Market Basket, Riverside. I'm sure.
In Stanford, it was the Stop and Shop or the ShopRite. We're across street from each other.
Oh, ShopRite. That was in Philly. That was a Philly one for us.
Well, now I'm not going there anymore. We're a very anti Philly show here. Someone who's anti The Rock right now may be Dave LaGreca.
Yes.
The baked potato come to life. Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, apparently is the only person in wrestling still engaged in an active feud with Dwayne I don't show up for work Johnson.
Yeah. Well, Robert, we talked about this, I believe. Yeah, a couple of days ago was The Rock was on Pat McAfee and gave his reasoning as to why he wasn't at WrestleMania. But according to LaGreca, he went on one of his signature rants. Him and his brother are known for their rants. Don calls hockey in New York with the Rangers. But the Great Ones remarks didn't sit too well with Busted Open Radio's host Dave LaGreca, who unleashed an explosive rant on The Rock, claiming that he threw Triple H under the bus and should have kept quiet about wanting to book the match differently. He said, when it's positive, you use we, but when it's not, you keep yourself out of it, basically. That's paraphrasing. And then The Rock had his own response, which I'm going to pull up right now.
Well, while you're pulling that up, I will point out, so myself and Scott Chaplin yesterday sat down for an episode of Working Stiff. We went 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We talked all things WrestleMania. We got into the Rock situation, and we were super critical of Dwayne in a number of different ways. A couple theories, couple of ideas on there, definitely worth going out and listening to. I doubt that the LaGreca rant quite reached the level of explicit nature that ours did, but The Rock took the time to comment under LaGreca's rant in such an obnoxious, condescending way.
Yes, it's very, to me, it's, if you thought it was an outsider, this is what an outsider would say to a wrestling fan. So here it is. Hi, Dave. The business is a complete work. Always has been, always will be. Every aspect of it, every match, every interview. Please join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, meaning Gewurz, and the rest of us for our creative discussions so you can expand your perspective. Until then, stop ranting. It's not healthy, my friend. Enjoy the show. P.S. Tell Bubba I have Grand Mariner and Hush Puppies for
Grand Marnier.
Oh, thank you. You can
That's
yell.
what I'm here
You
for.
tell I'm
Yeah.
very sophisticated.
So this is LaGreca's response, and I'm going to read because I haven't read what it is. I'm just going to kind of read it while reading it so I can respond. When you say it's a work, I don't need to be reminded. I know that. I'm trying to fight that off against everyone outside our circle that mocks wrestling. I don't need somebody inside the circle who sits at the highest mountain in the business, which is the WWE, to tell me it's not real. But let me buy into the magic that is professional wrestling. So when you say it's a work and it's not real, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I think Dave LaGreca is having an existential crisis, courtesy of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Here's the problem that we're running into right now with the WWE, and especially with The Rock.
Mhm.
When someone is critical of an entertainment property that they are watching, they are aware that it is an entertainment property. Dave LaGreca is not being critical of final boss The Rock for not showing up at WrestleMania. He's being critical of TKO executive and member of the creative process, Dwayne Johnson, for allowing his character, The Rock, to not be a part of that WrestleMania. The very, very short summation of what I said yesterday on Working Stiff, go check it out, it's worth it, is Rock is feeding this crap of, well, I wasn't needed for there. This was John Cena's moment. No, you did this so that everybody was sitting there going, where's Poochie? Where's The Rock? Why is The Rock not here? So at the end of WrestleMania, people were not going, John Cena just broke Ric Flair's record. What a moment. What a WrestleMania. No, you sent Travis Scott out there, which was a part of your presentation. So the entire show ended with everyone having this empty feeling of, wait, where's The Rock? That's your ego rub right there. And then to turn around and say, well, this is all just scripted. Da, da, da. Everyone gets that. And they're saying what you did, what you presented was stupid. It was not the right creative decision. And to hide behind that and say this makes you look even dumber. And I get that it's LaGreca, and LaGreca gets all fired up and worked up. But honestly, LaGreca is so close within the WWE circle, he may as well be a full-time WWE staff member. So it's not like you're really going to war with somebody of major aggression here. And then the constant thing, like, it's all fake. It's childish. It's weird. It's an odd deflection. This is the same nonsense he runs into when people are critical of his movies. And they're like, Red Notice was not a good movie. It was not well written. Or the Santa Claus one, Red one, whatever the hell that one was. Red one. But he's in two different movies with Red, both of them good. And he's like, well, they weren't made for the critic. They're made for the average person to go sit down with his family and enjoy it. And then when the average families didn't go sit down and enjoy it in theaters, it's, well, there's another reason, an explanation for it. It's like, the truth and the fact of the matter is this is a guy who's disconnected from reality across the board. And it's just weird behavior from someone who was so universally beloved. You know, if you go and listen to Jillian Bell was on WTF with Mark Maron.
Okay.
And she was talking about anxiety and entertainment. Because, you know, who probably doesn't have any anxiety in the entertainment? He's happy to see him. That's how Hollywood views The Rock. We view him now as a guy who comes in and meddles with something that we like in a way in which there is no long-term trajectory. And when things go correctly, it's because of The Rock. When things do not go correctly, well, I'm just a fan. I'm just a guy who shows up to do my job. The fans really wanted Roman and Rock. That was the big match at Mania 40. Some of you decided to interfere and meddle and whine and cry, so we had to change things. But really, most of you wanted The Rock and Roman Reigns. That was the bigger. The world that he lives in is kind of insane. And I think he intentionally did not show up at WrestleMania so that if it didn't go well, it's not on him. And then if the narrative is, well, where's Rock? He's all we cared about. It feeds his ego of, yeah, I was the missing ingredient. John Cena wasn't enough. Cody Rhodes wasn't enough. Travis Scott wasn't enough. Y'all needed The Rock.
Yeah. So obviously, me growing up in the Attitude Era, The Rock, I was a huge fan, and I still am a huge fan. And anytime he comes in, it's like I feel that entertainment level get elevated. He feels like a big deal because he is a big deal. And so he created these expectations for us that, hey, you're involved in one of the biggest storylines going in wrestling in years, with Cody telling his story, the bloodline mixing in all this stuff. And then you get this weird interaction of John Cena finally turning heel, Travis Scott being involved. You are embedded in this storyline. And to remove yourself out of it and not create questions and people criticizing it, it doesn't make any sense from that perspective. So then him deflecting by saying, wrestling's fake, it's a work. It is very, yes, it's very that what you hear from people who don't watch wrestling, and it feels like an insult when somebody tells you that. Like, yeah, we know it's fake. Geez, of course, but you don't got to tell us. Bryan Cranston doesn't turn out of Walter White all of a sudden and be like, "Hey guys, are you enjoying the show? You enjoy the meth I'm making?" No, he doesn't do that. So
maybe he is making meth and that's a cover. But this is the argument I always used to make when someone's like, you're taking something too seriously. It's a work. The amount of people who go to college and study English literature and major in Shakespearean works, they're not real. It's fiction. And yet there are respected scholars sitting at Harvard, Yale, and Oxford who have made an entire academic life and professional career critiquing and writing about Shakespeare.
Right.
Professional wrestling is no different than Shakespeare. It's no different than Greek theater. This is the same thing, by the way, I said directly to Stephanie McMahon in my interview, and she's like, yes. I'm like, you guys are writing King Lear. It's just wrestling.
Yeah.
But when you try to diminish it because you don't like the criticism of the underlying elements to it, it weakens your argument and makes you look even more insecure. And then to go after a guy like LaGreca, why does he even care what Dave LaGreca thinks? That's how insecure The Rock is at this point in time. He's had a number of films that have not done well at the box office. He had that horrible interaction at the Golden Globes with Vin Diesel. His television show was canceled. His other television show, the competition show, was canceled like a year ago. The XFL experiment has not worked well. Nobody's drinking his energy drink. They're drinking Prime. That's how insane humanity is. They're like, no, I'm going to trust Logan Paul with what I'm going to ingest in my body.
I had Prime last night.
And look what happened to you.
Yes. Or look what's becoming of me.
We're gonna pivot. There's another story here. I don't even know what this is. I don't know who's Bishop Dyer.
You don't know who Bishop Dyer is? He's one of your favorites, Robert.
That's why I just said I don't know who Bishop Dyer is.
Baron Corbin, Robert.
Wait, what?
Yes, that's his new name.
He goes by Bishop Dyer?
Yes. Instead of a Baron, he's a bishop now. And Dyer, I think, it ties to Lone Wolf that he was, and Dyer Wolf. So there you go. So he had some comments.
What?
Yes.
You are sneakier than The Rock. You got me all like, oh, who is this guy? You got me talking about a Baron Corbin quote.
Yes. Yes, I do. Because I think it's an interesting subject here. Somebody who wasn't on WrestleMania was Bayley. And she was surprisingly removed and replaced by Becky Lynch. So he kind of took exception to this. And he said, I had a few days to kind of calm down because it made me extremely angry. F you, that's my sentiment. I mean it. To do it to Bayley, of all people, someone who's been through COVID, has made lemonade out of a dog S repeatedly, is a model effing employee. I don't give an S if she knew the storyline ahead of time. Please do all this. Take all these bumps. Work your ass off. And 2 days before we're going to replace you. And I know Bayley's going to be fine, but that is a moment, and it's BS all the way through. She didn't.
I like that you turned into Jules Asner from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when she's trying to read the statement. And it's like an expletive deleted with you. By the way, you're the one that prepared this. You could have edited it.
I had no idea there were so many cuss words in here.
Dom, you're the best. Yes. He wrote, Bayley deserves to be on WrestleMania. It is insane to me that you take that moment away.
And then Stone Cold added in a separate interview that he thinks Bayley is very humble, class act, and a future Hall of Famer. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So I love Bayley. I think Bayley is great. I was bummed to not see her on the card. But yeah, it was a pleasant surprise seeing Becky Lynch make her return. And the fact is, I think, when we talked about this, we talked about how commendable it was that, WWE's making an effort to get people on the card. However, I also think that there's the aspect of trying to give everybody a gold watch when you're trying to tell a concise, fun story at your biggest show of the year. And it's like, where do you find the balance of that? So not having everybody on the card, I get like Bailey's one of your hardest workers and she's one of your biggest female stars. But I mean, I also feel in the same vein, not everybody needs to be on the WrestleMania card because we talk about the Motor City Machine Guns and the tag team title match coming up here. This could be a big deal in itself after the fact.
This is the thing that I find hilarious. I mean, granted, this is from who is it's not Deacon Batista. Who is this?
Bishop Dyer.
All right, from Briar's Ice Cream. A dude whose character at one point was just, I wear a vest. Look, Bailey was part of this shoehorn story with Lyra Valkyria where they were going to be a tag team, and then she got attacked and was written off. Obviously, the payoff here is that whoever attacked her, Becky Lynch, is going to wind up feuding with her. And Becky Lynch is most likely going to be joining this Paul Heyman Dangerous Alliance thing, which is going to be the single biggest story going on in the company right now. Mm-hmm. So when you're positioning Bailey to be the babyface going up against the largest new stable in the organization, she's going to be just fine. It's not like Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, who just, they're not on WrestleMania. They were part of that women's tag team tournament. Too bad, so sad. You're not going to get an opportunity to do anything. It's not Dakota Kai, who, worked hard to come back, or Alexa Bliss, who was not injured, but just not on TV. They clearly have a plan going forward with Bailey. They didn't just haphazardly remove her from the show out of spite. They appreciate what she's doing. But like you said, not everybody gets the gold watch. Not everybody gets every opportunity on every WrestleMania. There were a lot of people that competed. There were a lot of women that had matches. This was the first WrestleMania ever where there was a women's match that was not for a title. It was a straight up storyline. Like, you got Naomi and Jade Cargill on WrestleMania. Pick and choose your battles. I get that he's trying to get clickbait headlines. And now you got us talking about him. And the last thing I want to be doing is talking about Baron Corbin. And yet here we are. I mean, Steve's right. Yeah, Bailey's humble. She knows her position. She knows she's going to be a Hall of Famer. She's one of those people who is always going to have an opportunity. You want to complain. It's like you look at an Natalya. Natalya is like, all right, I'm not going to be on WrestleMania. Put me on Bloodsport. Let me go try to steal the weekend. Shayna Baszler, same thing. They understand the assignment. I don't think they're taking it as personally as he is. And because we did this damn Baron Corbin story, we're not going to get a chance to get to the Billy and the CW information that I wanted to cover. Apologies to them on our Friday show, but we'll make a note for it. We'll get to it on Monday. But Dom was nice enough to post this week's episode of Working Stiff, but he also produces I was going to say plethora. I don't. That's not where I say plethora, man. He's got as Briar's Ice Cream Corbin would say, an S-load of other podcasts.
Thanks, Robert. Yeah. Last night I went live with RVD, One of a Kind with RVD, episode 101 we did. And Rob and I, we cover LFG and talk about the new Unreal show. And Rob has some interesting takes on how he feels about those programs. So go and hear that. We cover a lot of good ground, too, about WrestleMania weekend and everything to that effect, too. So
RVD, did you get to catch up with Rob while you were in Vegas?
Yeah, I met him at WrestleCon and got to see him a couple times. Him, Fonzie, Sabu, Kev, Kurt Angle. I saw the whole game.
Just want to point this out. At no point was I invited to get to go see Rob or Fonzie or Kevin Nash, the only person in wrestling I've never met that I actually would.
Never met Kevin Nash?
Never met Kevin Nash. And as a kid, huge Diesel mark.
What? I knew that. I knew that.
As a small kid, oh man, when he powerbombed to beat Bob Backlund at the Madison Square Garden, that was a seminal moment.
Ooh, my goodness!
And then every time I was at WWE, Kev was never there. Never got a chance to meet him.
Wow! All right,
very few people in wrestling have I not had the pleasure and opportunity to meet. It's pretty much it's probably just Kevin. I'm trying to think who else there is floating around out there that I haven't. That's still alive, I should say.
Did you meet The Rock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've had the privilege and pleasure of meeting Dwayne and Stone Cold, and obviously Cena and Orton and all those guys, and Shawn and Terry Bollea and whatnot. But, well, let's not go that far.
Hey, by the way, I had American beer. Not good.
Yeah, I made a joke. The woman at the Legion Stadium, the woman who was our bartender, I'm like, oh, you guys have real American beer? She's like, yeah. She's like, you're not drinking that, are you? I'm like, I'm not a Nazi. I'm okay. And she laughed heartily. And she liked the fact that they had the Real American beer right next to the Modelo.
That's pretty funny.
Ron Ward asks a very important question here.
What do we got?
Did RVD get Dom high? And if so, is there video? Please tell me there's video.
Listen, I don't do well when I'm high, so no, he didn't.
Dom, this is how Dom acts sober.
Yes.
Do we really need him more absent-minded?
Oh
We
my
will never find it. Like, if that were to happen, you'd be somewhere in Reno by now.
Look, I would be naked in my bathroom.
No, say you took it too far. Took it too far.
That's what happened when I got high last time.
Good Lord, dude. All right. Nope. This is a family show. We're on YouTube. This is a family program. You want to hear that kind of profanity, that kind of inappropriate talk, you can go check out this week's episode of Working Stiff. But if you want to come see good, family-friendly, high-quality entertainment, you can watch Rumor and Innuendo every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms. It's more than one platform. That's a plethora, including the WW Creative _ish X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Working Stiff, and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the man who can handle numbers but not his drugs, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
As Tally said, won't get high.